Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your podcast.
And we're going to tell you why tonight. Hi, it's Dawn here, joined as always by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, as we await the next Sunday games. So, Maddie, how was your week?
Having a great week. Had a Veterans Day off, thank you, veterans, for your service. Which was nice because my kids also had the day off. So it was a lot of kind of hanging out at home. Took some time to go get some coffee and a snack with them. They don't drink coffee, but I do. And otherwise just kind of hanging out and spend time with the kids on Thursday. It was really nice.
Very nice. Well, you're looking all comfy in your flannel shirt.
Yeah, wearing one of my favorite Packers t-shirts. It's actually one of the new ones for those who are watching the video. It's one of these.
Oh, nice. So yes.
Nice,
We do have a video version for those who want to see our faces. And did you have kind of fall cool weather today, or is it still warm by you? It's still warm here.
Good question. It was weird because last week was kind of wintry here, and then this week is more feels like autumn again, like it's supposed to feel at this part of the progression of autumn in the in Cincinnati. So I know it's been in the 50s, which is I think nice for this time of year. So no complaints about the weather.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool. We don't get that cold here ever. So it's
right.
For me, that would be like, oh, a super cold day. I could wear a jacket. Wow. But I don't like hot weather. We had a Santa Ana today, which is when the desert winds come. Normally we have and today was no exception. We had a strong offshore breeze right off the ocean. So that keeps it cool on the coast, cooler. Mm-hmm. When I lived in Wisconsin, there was this saying, in fact, there's even a book by the title, Cooler by the Lake, because people would say, so how's it going to be today? Well, it's going to be whatever, 80 degrees, but it's going to be cooler by the lake. I always had to add that in as if you wouldn't know that, but it kind of makes me laugh because it's always cooler on the coast here. So today we had a Santa Ana. So I went out my back door, which is kind of my front door, but it's really my back door. I call it my back door for some reason. Out my back door, and I could feel the desert heat. I mean, it smells different and everything. Sure. It's just different. It was like, ooh, it was warm. And I was running out the door for reasons I'll explain in a minute. But I got down the stairs into the front of my apartment, and it was like, oh, I'm cold. Because it was, and you could smell the salty air because there was quite an offshore breeze. So it's a weird day here, combination weather. So we had Santa Ana. I don't usually talk about the weather. I don't know why we're talking. I don't even know why I added my weather thing in. I asked you because I thought about your flannel shirt, and
that's what it was. Got to think about the weather.
I know. I would, so if I ever get to wear a sweater, I'm super happy. It's fun. My day was a little crazy. It kind of started about 4:30 a.m. I suddenly woke up to my kitten staring at me and meowing and meowing and meowing. And I was like, wow, are you hungry? All that. And then it was growling, and it was like, and I could tell her eyes, she wasn't happy. And she looked like her eyes were a little watery. And I had remembered, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and she was kind of just like staring at me. And I'm like, was she not sleeping this whole time, just staring at me, waiting for me to wake up? So I was very distressed. And so I'm, petting her and talking to her and trying to calm her down and see if maybe she was just having a bad dream or something. And it didn't go, it got worse and worse. And so she ended up in the ER basically. And I didn't get home with her until, $2,000 and several hours, like many hours later, she's home, and we don't know what's wrong. She hurt her leg doing kitten thing. Hopefully that's all it is, like a soft tissue injury, which is, can hurt really bad. To me, it seems much worse because she was like holding her her arms up, Mom, for me to hold her. It was I
so
know
sad.
it was so sad.
Poor kitty.
Oh gosh. And then I had to leave her there. I was a wreck.
Mhm.
I was a wreck. And I said to my friend, because my friend took us, because I was shaking and I was like trying not to get sick. I was just a wreck. And my friend's like, you need to calm down. Like, this is just how I'm wired. And she said, she isn't going to even know it. They got her on IV pain medicine and all that. And so when she came home, and so then the instructions are, keep her, don't let her jump up on the furniture. Don't let her jump. Don't let her play. You're going to have to keep her calm. And I was like, oh, no problem. Because they gave her a IV full of opioids. She came home, and until literally 15 minutes ago, she was bouncing off the walls the whole time. And I'm like trying to get her to get like, no, you're not supposed to jump down. Let me come get you.
Cat's crazy. Cats are crazy little things, Dawn.
I think the drugs made her go in the other direction. Or maybe she was just so happy to be home. I mean, at first, when she got home, she was limping really badly. And I'm thinking, man, she had IV narcotics and that's still that painful. And then within 15 minutes, when she realized she was home, she's just running all over and stuff. So she'll probably be sore again tomorrow. Anyway, that was my big saga. This poor kitten has been through so much already in her little life. She's only 4.5 months and she's had multiple emergency medical treatments. Yeah. I know. It's awful, but she's home. I'm happy. We're all good now. And she's finally sleeping off her medication. She'll probably won't be up till tomorrow. So yeah, that was my day. I usually don't say much about my day because it's the same old around here. So yeah, it's just been good. I was super jazzed last week to see Jordan play. It was a fun game. It was a weird game. Wasn't that a weird game?
It was a weird game. It was a game that we had no business losing ultimately.
I agree. And it's too bad for him to have had to, not been able to eke that one out as his first game.
Yeah.
But at least it wasn't a slaughter. I mean, the defense was crazy
fantastic.
Good. Yes, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm proud of our young Jordan. And, he stood on his feet. He didn't get all emotional. You didn't see him crack. I was proud of young Jordan.
Even going into it, everyone's talking about how even-tempered he is. His teammates talk about that, his coaches talk about that. And I was thinking, is he still going to be that way, in the speed of a real NFL game? And he really was, it seemed like, he didn't start running from the rushers and stuff like that. He really hung in there. He did his job as best he could, given what he was working with, which we'll get into a little bit with our superlatives later. But suffice to say, he looked like a rookie quarterback for sure, but that's because it was his first NFL game. So I think given the circumstances, I think he did as well as he could. Really, I mean, I got no complaints about it. Not about him.
So many people, yeah, and just on a personal level, you just want to, I'm just rooting for him. I felt like maternal. There were so many people from different teams, from different organizations, all over the place saying, "Well, look at this great quarterback's first game and his stats were this." So I really like that so many just were rallying around this young buck. And, he really got kind of ripped off last year, didn't get any preseason games and all that. And, and Rodgers had three good years behind Favre and Jordan's only on year 2. So
that's right. Exactly.
He's doing great. So yeah, I was super jazzed to see him. And tonight, so right now where we're at in football season today, we're heading into week 10 of the NFL tonight with Thursday night football, the Ravens and the Dolphins at Miami, I believe. We're at halftime as always, 3-6. The Dolphins are leading.
Which is a surprise.
Which is interesting. And they're looking good. I know we should.
It'd be interesting to see the end of that game after we're done tonight. Yeah,
we have to watch it. We have to watch. And I just want to say I love the color of the Dolphins uniforms. I like them. One of my favorite colors. Packers remain number 1 in the NFC North, and with the loss on Sunday, dropped to number 2 in the NFC overall conference. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Packers lost in Kansas City, but the defense was amazing, which we're going to talk about. And Packers take on the Seahawks tomorrow at Lambeau Field. So, as always, Maddie, are you excited or are you scared? And how do you feel about the game and the team where we are today?
So I hate the Seahawks. I'll just start with that. I'm not scared about this one. I think a lot of the stats, if you look at it between the Seahawks and the Packers, are very similar, but their defense is definitely not nearly as good as ours, especially with where ours is at right now. I also think that their running backs aren't nearly as good as ours. So, like, in a lot of important ways that we can really take advantage of, like, we're a better team for sure. And I laugh though, because, you know, all the Russell Wilson stuff, like his ridiculous video, you know, his broken finger.
Why?
Because he can't help himself. He's the cheesiest. You know, with all that other stuff earlier in the season with the fake huddle, like, you know, weird thing he was doing with that.
And I know. That was odd.
Super cringy. You know, and going back to like the Mr. Unlimited. Did you ever see that video he did like a while back? With
Probably.
The Mr. Thing? I mean, it's just
I don't remember it.
That dude is the worst. He's the worst. He is the worst. So, yeah, I mean, you know, he hasn't won in Lambeau, and I don't think that's going to change this week at all. I think, especially if Rodgers is back, and I think he will be. It kind of sounds like we don't really know for sure at this point, since we're recording on Thursday. But no, I'm not worried about it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that Tony Romo is going to be doing the commentating along with, I forget who is it. Jim Nancy does it with, I think. Maybe I could be wrong about that.
I don't remember, because honestly, even though I like Tony Romo too, I still put it on mute and listen to WTMJ while I have the game. I just love the WTMJ.
Well, they're so great. Wayne and Larry are amazing. Definitely.
That's just my tradition. It's what I do. It's so funny listening to the game and then you're hearing the commercials for back there.
Yeah. For like Bell and Health.
Steinhoff
yes.
Furniture. And I know all the
Marshfield
songs.
Clinic. Marshfield Clinic, totally. Yeah.
I know all the music and I sing along. And
yes, totally.
A lot of people here have mentioned to me that my accent is so much stronger now. And it's because I'm hanging out with all the, or I'm listening to.
Listen to that.
Oh, the accents are just, who was I listening to? Oh gosh, anybody. Who was it the other? Oh, I'm okay. This is not football related, but I'm also listening to a little bit of the trial going on in Kenosha. Kenosha.
I said you just said Kenosha like somebody from Kenosha.
I know.
Kenosha. Little diphthong in the O.
Kenosha. No,
I'm
not.
from Kenosha.
Yeah, Kenosha. No, I'm sort of in middle ground, but I'm definitely getting the Wisconsin twang back. It's fun. So even the lawyers, it's really interesting because I hear it. When I first came, to California, I didn't really hear it, but when you're gone for a long time, you lose your accent. Yeah. And of course now, even though I spoke with my mom practically every day, I only visited once a year, maybe twice a year. These days we're Zooming all the time. We're doing all these videos and listening to trials and listening to Wes and Mike Spofford and all of them with the Wisconsin accent. And so I'm getting inundated with that more than I would have in the past. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. So Maddie, you have some support. What did you dig up for us? What do you have?
Yeah. This week, let's see. So 3 superlatives and actually a bonus just shout out to somebody here. But my first superlative does go to something that you had actually kind of like hinted at before, and it's going to be best perspective. It's going out to Robin Adams, who is a great Twitter presence and a really good writer for Wisconsin Sports Heroics, a great website. But anyhow, this is just a tweet he does. So one of my superlatives is just a tweet that he put together, which was comparing the first game of the season that both Aaron Rodgers had and also that Jordan Love had. And, just to like run the stats real fast here for Aaron Rodgers, 15, passes made out of 28 attempted versus Jordan Love, 1934. Aaron Rodgers, 133 yards in the air versus Jordan Love, 190 yards.
Wow.
For Aaron Rodgers, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, Jordan Love, 1 each. Aaron Rodgers, the 36.8 passer rating, would have been which was lower than if he had just thrown the ball into the dirt on every single throw.
Wow.
Remember that, people talked about that, versus Jordan Love had a 69.5. So what he said, what Robin said at the end of that, he said it's almost like one game doesn't need to define a player. And I thought that was just so brilliant. It was like such great perspective. So Robin, man, best perspective.
We like it.
And like you said, a lot of people were talking about stuff like that, like what were other quarterbacks' first starts. And I especially loved when somebody dug up Aikman's, because Aikman was kind of begging on Love during the broadcast.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So if you had it muted, you had the right call there, because he was.
I can't.
It wasn't cool. Yeah. So Aikman's first start was similarly like not great. So so that was my first one. Best perspective, going to Robin.
I like it. I like it.
The second one,
almost like one game doesn't need to define a player. Almost like that.
It's almost like that.
Yeah.
So my second one then is funnest. Is funnest a word? Can we do that? Funnest?
Funnest, funniest?
Funnest. Most fun?
Most fun. Most fun.
This is most fun. That sounds more grammatically correct. Most fun analysis. This goes to Ken Ingalls and the Niebels on the Unknown Packers podcast, which this week Bryce Christensen couldn't be there for whatever reason. And it was initially I was like, oh no, what's this gonna be like without Bryce? He's the heart of the show. But man, Ken and Niebels, they did a good one. But anyhow, so they did this thing on their segment, or they did a segment on the show called the blame game, and they were breaking down for each of them where they thought the blame for the Packers loss lied in terms of percentage wise, and hearing them talk about their difference in opinions on this and kind of how they were like mentally segmenting out the blame. I was really fascinated by it. I thought it was a really great discussion. So I'd recommend going back and listening to that, for anybody who's hearing me say this, if you hadn't heard the Unknown Packers podcast for this week. But just to break this part down, Ken Ingalls said he put 40% of the blame on special teams, which I think is pretty fair. Special teams obviously was really bad.
Oh,
so
it
bad.
makes me so upset. It's like, we could have had this for Jordan. Jordan. Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. I know. So 40% special teams. The O-line 20%. The O-line play, especially in the interior, was rough. 20% on Jordan Love. So only 20 compared to like 40, for special teams. 20% Jordan Love, 50% LaFleur though, because a lot of LaFleur's, design wasn't good. I know I'm kind of getting to a thing you're going to talk about in a bit here too. Right. And then the last five, this made me laugh. The last five was for Aaron Rodgers. Like, yeah, I mean, if you would have been in the game, we would have won it. And I think it's definitely true. I mean, I think we would have embarrassed the Chiefs if Aaron Rodgers were in there, because they wouldn't have had answers for the stuff he could have done. But so that was Ken, and then Niebels said straight up 50% on LaFleur, and he provided a really good rationale for that. I wouldn't go that high personally, but I did appreciate his argument for it. So 50% LaFleur, 30% special teams, and then he said 10% for the O-line, 10% for Jordan Love.